And now from our studios in downtown Winnipeg, it's time for 107 Live.
This Saturday at 7:30 at the University of Winnipeg's Eckhart Gramate Hall, Virtosi Concerts will present a concert that they are calling Artists of Manitoba, the Brandon Connection. This concert will feature the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra's string ensemble and Brandon-based pianist Daniel Tselyakov. This concert will feature music by Shostakovich, Rachmaninoff, Mozart, and Bach. And this is going to be a fantastic concert that will feature some great Manitoba talent. Joining me here in the Classic 107 studios is pianist Daniel Tselyakov. Welcome to our Classic 107 studios, Daniel.
Thank you for having me again.
So, I understand you just literally got off a plane. Where were you coming from?
From Utah, Salt Lake City.
So, and what time did the flight land?
It landed about 3 o'clock, around there. Around that time, my parents just picked me up. They went to like a doctor's appointment, and we were like trying to find this place because it changed locations. We came a little bit late, but thank you for still having me here and promote this concert.
First of all, I want to congratulate you on your recent success at the Livorno Piano Competition. You were a finalist and the audience prize winner at the 2019 competition. Can you tell us about the Livorno competition and what it was like to have such great success at that competition?
Yeah, so Livorno. Livorno. First of all, is in Italy. It's right beside Pisa, if you know the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So it's the city that's right on the shore, and this was the second international competition that I've ever been a part of, and it was incredible experience for me. One, because when international competitions, they put you kind of have to go through a lot as a musician. It's really stressful, but you really come out from it stronger. And I was really surprised that I actually went into the finals because, usually it takes a while to get used to these international competitions. You don't just, So I was really happy to get into the finals and get the audience prize, which really meant a lot to me. And I fell in love with the culture, the Italian culture. It's really something where you see everywhere, like TVs, like just out on the streets, and everything is about cooking and how to make pasta better.
That's nice.
So I absolutely adore Livorno and Italy. So.
Oh, that's great. The concert is called Artists of Manitoba, the Brandon Connection. You are the Brandon Connection. Can you tell us about your background early on studying piano in Brandon and growing up in Brandon? Do you want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah, so we moved from Toronto to Brandon. My dad got a position as a professor for piano.
At Brandon University.
At Brandon University, yes.
Right.
I was about 13 years old when I first started school in Brandon, and at that point, I wasn't that serious about piano, to be honest. But we started because of I don't know, it's something about Brand University where it cultivates musical talent extremely well, and there's the Aigre Conservatory there,
Right.
and yeah, so I started doing festivals, and I started experimenting with challenging repertoire that kind of really motivated me to actually, really take this more seriously. And then obviously my parents were teaching me, and Mary Jo Carabray taught me, and Michael Kim, who was the dean previously.
Right, yeah.
And then afterwards, I kind of decided that, I got accepted to Oberlin Conservatory, so that's where I went after.
And then from Oberlin, you went to
Montreal.
Montreal, and
Yeah.
then from Montreal,
Salt Lake City.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're currently working on your DMA at which school in Utah?
University of Utah.
University of Utah. I'm curious, who reached out for you to perform at this concert on Saturday night with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, and how long have you been preparing for the concert?
Harry Stubb, we're really great friends with him, and I've already performed at the Virtosi concert series. So this is actually my fourth engagement, and I'm very happy that it's my fourth engagement. So yeah, we reached out to him. We really wanted to do a chamber music concert because it's something I'm really passionate about, chamber music, and it was specifically we wanted to focus on Shostakovich, which is the headliner, the piano quintet.
Right. And you just got off a plane, so rehearsals are starting when?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, so welcome to the professional world, right?
This is normal.
Yeah, I mean, 2 rehearsals if you're lucky. Yeah. So, but I'm sure it's going to be just great. I want to talk about Saturday night's program. The 2 sort of big pieces on the program are the Mozart Piano Quartet in E flat and the Shostakovich Piano Quintet in G minor. Mm-hmm. 2 very different works. Mm-hmm. When it comes to approaching the piano parts for those 2 chamber pieces, how do you switch gears? But you know what I mean? Between playing the Mozart and the Shostakovich. How do you go about doing that?
I'm actually, it's easier for me when it's so different. I find when you have a kind of a same program for a whole concert, for me that's more difficult to make it more interesting. But when you have variety, you can actually, for me it's easier to switch off and on, because to be honest, like for example, the Mozart, for me Mozart has always been the composer that I go to if I feel like I'm stuck musically and I'm trying to figure out how to fix something.
Right. And
I always go back to Mozart because it's all about simplicity and trying to learn how to phrase better, learning how to articulate better. So, and Shostakovich is a whole different animal, like you said. But on the other hand, I've wanted to do Shostakovich chamber music for a while now. I remember one day I decided that I was just going to listen to all of the string quartets in one whole day, and that was probably one of the most incredible experiences I've decided to do, because you would think as a composer ages that the music would get, less intense, but it actually got more intense.
Yeah. Well, you wrote 15 of them, right? So, I mean, there's a lot there. Do you want to talk about the musicians that you're going to be performing with tomorrow night? Can you just quickly mention that?
So it'll be Carl Stobie, Jeremy, sorry, I can't, I forget his last name, Jeremy...
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's Yuri Hooker, cello, and Dan Schultz on viola. Yes.
And then the 2 violins will be Carl and Jesse, whose name is. So it sounds like a great ensemble. I want to ask about the Shostakovich Quintet. It's a wartime quintet written and performed during the Second World War. The quintet would go on to be a big success for Shostakovich. What is it about this piece that you find so interesting?
Well, first of all, we're starting the whole concert with a Bach prelude and fugue, and that the piano quintet itself starts with a prelude and fugue is very uncommon, and it's very interesting that Shostakovich decides to do that. And after the fugue, he goes into the third movement, which is this kind of peasant, very vigorous music that is probably one of my favorite ones out of all of them, because it's obviously very exciting. But there's all of these just different characters in all of the movements, and it kind of, someone told me once that his piano quartet almost is like movie music. You kind of you can see pictures that are being told through his music.
And I mean, that's not surprising. I mean, Shostakovich, he wrote film scores, so and for me, whenever I hear his chamber music, well, especially in the string quartets, you can very often envision images. But so it's the same thing with the piano quintet as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I am sort of curious about the Bach that you're going to be playing. So you're going to be playing Bach's Prelude and Fugue number 15, I believe.
Yeah, G major.
G major in the first book of Waldtemper Clavier. Why this one?
It's very, I don't know. I don't deliberately try to think of like why I go towards material. I just go towards ones that kind of I'm very interested in and kind of wanted to. And for me, the G major one, there's a simplicity to it, and doing it very well that I was really. I really wanted to do again. I did it. I played this G major one when I was about in grade 7 in elementary school, and so I decided to take it again to see what would change specifically. And obviously, I've listened to a lot of pianists that have inspired me, and listened to a lot of Glenn Gould. I wanted to see if how I think of polyphony and would change the way I would perform this piece.
So you were saying that it's going to be before the Shostakovich quintet, right?
It's at the very beginning.
Yeah. And it makes a nice intro, because one of the things about that G major Prelude and Fugue is it's short.
Very short, yeah.
Right. So you're talking about this Prelude and Fugue with the first movement of the Shostakovich. It does make it sort of a quasi fanfare to the Shostakovich quintet. Yeah. It sounds like it's going to be like a great, great concert. I understand you have one more piece that you're going to play for us?
Maybe I should play the prelude of the
Sure.
Bach.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll let you go to it. That was absolutely terrific. Daniel, I want to thank you so much for stopping by our Classic 107 studios and talking to us today. It's going to be a great, great show on Saturday night. Join Daniel Tselyakov and the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra String Ensemble this Saturday night at the University of Winnipeg's Eckhart Grammaté Hall for a concert that is going to be just amazing. If you want more information about Virtosi's concert this Saturday night, artists in Manitoba, you can go to virtuosi.mb.ca. That was a Classic 107 Live.
From our studios in downtown Winnipeg, you've been listening to 107 Live, Classic 107's Intimate Concert Series, the soundtrack for your life.